Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Sonia and today we're talking about long COVID, chronic COVID, long haulers. They all mean the same thing. And we're going to talk about how they're treated, the signs and symptoms. So definitely stay tuned to the end of the clip because that's when I'll be talking about treatment. And of course, I am a health professional. I am a registered nurse of 32 years. I hold 2 master's degrees and I'm an accredited lifestyle medicine professional. So I think I understand the importance of health information that is valid and reliable, and I hope you do too. So definitely hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and if you like what you hear, share it with your friends. Okay, so what is long COVID? Well, long COVID is defined as the continuation of symptoms much longer than the initial onset of COVID. So despite recovering from the infection, the person still has symptoms. Now, recovery from mild SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 infection commonly occurs in 7 to 10 days after the onset of symptoms. But it can take up to 3 to 6 weeks in people who have had severe or critical illness. However, continued follow-up of patients who have recovered has found that these people can experience 1 or more symptoms even after that time, sometimes weeks and sometimes months. And I'll put a little graph here beside me, and it sort of indicates, what is considered okay, and then what is considered, over an extended time, what long COVID would be classified as. So the thing about that is it's either continuous, it either relapses and comes back, or it just goes away. So there's funny things are happening with our poor bodies who are trying to, fight off this viral infection. And sometimes our bodies don't do so well. And we know that, there are continuing problems in viral infections, things like Ross River fever, Lyme's disease, Epstein-Barr, all those diseases tend to have symptoms that are ongoing or can reoccur. And I guess, COVID-19 viral infection or the SARS-CoV-2 infection, which is the scientific word for it, is no different. Who gets it? Well, studies are showing that women are twice as likely as men to have long COVID. However, this evens out at about the age of 60, and I guess that's because increasing age is also a risk factor. Okay, the presence of up to 5 symptoms whilst affected with the initial onset of the illness, things like a higher body mass index, so obesity or overweightness, and the presence of co-morbidities is we know increases the risk of COVID, but it also increases the risk of having long COVID. So even those with mild symptoms at initial presentations, they can also develop long COVID. So what are the signs and symptoms? Well, a meta-analysis found that the 5 most common manifestations of long COVID-19 were 1, fatigue, so 58% of people, 2, headache, 44% of people, attention disorder, 27% of people, hair loss was 25%, and dyspnea, which is breathlessness, was experienced in 24% of the people who were studied. Patients also experienced inability to do routine daily activities, experienced mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. The prevalence of long COVID was 35% in those who attended their GP or as an outpatient, and 87% amongst those who were hospitalised for their initial infection. So it shows that those who were hospitalised and, they could have been ventilated in ICU and all those things, they would have experienced far more symptoms than, say, the person who presented to their GP, and they would have may have had underlying conditions as well, chronic conditions such as diabetes, obesity, cardiac issues, all those sorts of things as well. So the impact of long COVID is a huge problem. It's huge in that it affects families, it affects occupations. People can't return to work and work like they once did, or they have to reduce their hours, which means reduce income. So this also has an economic flow on, and definitely, it's a burden to the health system in the fact that, these conditions, these people will be experiencing symptoms, health problems, and continuing for some time or for who knows how long. And, this also has an economic cost to the society in which we live and that we're part of. So what is the treatment? Vaccination can help prevent the severity of the disease, but will it be forever? No, probably we'll have to get immunised again each year, a bit like the flu vaccine. How do we know? What can we do to help our bodies? Well, it's thought that the same thing that we would do to prevent COVID is the same thing that we continue to support our body with. And it sounds a bit weird that it's the same, but hey, that's good, isn't it? Less things to remember. So what you need to know is that every infection has a host, that's you and I, and a virus or a microbe. So we can't do much about this microbe here, but we can do a lot about the host virus, which is you and I. So we can keep our bodies healthy. So we can use things like simple lifestyle measures, such as, eating a low-carb Mediterranean diet, which is the best diet that you could possibly eat. Exercising, moving 20 minutes a day, getting enough sleep. Oh, people say I don't need sleep. You do need sleep. Research shows most people need 7.5 hours sleep. I have a video for that. Have a look at that. Being able to reduce stress in your life. Stress is not good for our immune system. And if you are overweight or obese, get your weight down. We are not hearing that this is what we need to be doing. These are simple measures that we can do to help our immunity system. Okay, so if we do those things, what are some other things that we can be doing? We can be taking supplements, your vitamin D, your zinc, your vitamin C. If we're eating a good, healthy diet, we should be getting these things in our diet as well. But definitely it's not going to hurt to be taking vitamin D and zinc as a supplement as well. And there is, talk about providing extra oxidants for our cells, and something like co-enzyme Q10. There's a lot of people talking about that as well. These help fuel up our mitochondrial cells. And, anything that can help our mitochondria, which is like the energy centers in our cell, is a good thing. And so things like NAD supplements as well. There are a number of podcasts that you can listen to help you with this. Someone like Mark Hyman, who's a functional medicine doctor, he interviews guests. He's very good. If you're having health problems, have a look through his YouTube channel as well, and I'll link some of his videos below as well. So anything that helps our cells, our immunity, things like eating foods high in glutathione, which are those cruciferous vegetables, which sometimes we don't like to eat because, hey, I don't like cabbage, never have. used to throw it down the sink as a kid. Used to gag on it. It brings back terrible, terrible memories of cabbage, especially when it's cold. But hey, there are better ways to eat it than how my mum actually gave it to us as kids. And definitely things like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, drinking things like green tea or taking a supplement, and then supporting your gut health. So things like probiotics, good fibers, our guts love things like that. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Don't forget to check out the links in the description box below. And remember that we are in actual two pandemics. One is the obesity pandemic, and I studied this in my master's, and this is a huge problem. Our population is getting larger, and as such, obesity does mean that our body is in a stage of inflammation. And that means that when along comes a microbe or a virus, it's not in such a healthy state to be able to fight it. So this is why, in the countries with higher rates of obesity, there tends to be more death per, million population. So be aware of that. It's not a good situation that we're in, but we can help ourselves by doing lifestyle measures as well as taking supplements, and they're not that expensive and they do last a long time, and they can be shared with your spouse or partner as well. So I hope this information has been helpful, and definitely subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.